Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is March 14th, 2022, and today is Monday morning. So welcome back, everybody. So looking at the markets, they're really tapering off after a crazy couple of weeks. Now we're going to take a look at each individual sector. But first, no major economic events scheduled for today. So as we look at the major pairs in the Forex symbols, they're pretty much bouncing after a massive decline last week versus the US dollar. And looking at the indices, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, and the DAX both all get a open with a gap up this morning. Question is how much longer it could sustain itself. Now looking at commodities, gold and oil steady after a massive retreat. And looking at the stocks, Facebook still showing some tremendous weakness while big tech actually following suit and showing some weakness as well. Now lastly, looking at Bitcoin bouncing back after a decent retracement. But let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. Now we're looking at the Euro USD at a 4-hour chart. Nothing's going to be massive here, okay? There's not going to be anything just dramatic like we saw the past couple of weeks where, we retraced over 300 to 400 pips. But we're going to be trading in a range, okay? And this is going to be the range that we're going to be trading in. So as long as you're buying the bottom of it and just chipping away on it, maybe just selling it after 30, 40 pips, that will probably be your best bet. Now looking at the GBP USD and a weekly chart, wow, look at that. 130.42. 130 is a very important number. I'm not sure we're going to break it. Okay, at least not for now. So I do expect somewhat of a bounce here. Maybe all the way up to 132-ish level. Looking at the Aussie dollar as well. It's finally getting that bounce as it's retraced also significantly versus the US dollar. So we are looking for something in the 72.80-ish level for it to bounce back to. Now looking at commodities, gold retrace down to 1970. You could see how sideways trading it's going. Okay, a massive sell-off after hitting 2068. We did hit our double top here, as you can see here, perfectly inclined. Okay, we are still at the top of the range of that, so we do still have some room for it to retrace as well. Now looking at crude oil, we hit $130 a barrel last week. We're retracing down to 105, 106-ish. This is going to be a spot for it to be support here at 105. And then my next support level is really 100. And then if it breaks that, then we could see ourselves back in the 80s or 90s. However, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we're going to be trading in a tight range in and between 105 and 120. If there's any kind of adverse kind of news that's going to come out regarding the war, I think we're going to spike again for sure. Okay, so quiet is still where we're at right now. Now looking at the major indices, looking at the Dow Jones trading at 33,200-ish level, it's just range bound trading right now. Okay, after we sold off last week to 32,400, that was a decent place for it to sell off. But it's been strong and weak, strong and weak, strong and weak, but it has had little points where it actually bounces up. Okay, so we're pretty much at 50% between 34,000 and 32,000. We're trading at 33,200-ish level. It still could go up to 33,500. Okay, if it does get that short squeeze today. Now looking at the NASDAQ also trading right here at 13,346, but showing some tremendous weakness here. Okay, and we got to go with the DAX here because the DAX is really leaning us higher. Okay, 13,300 as we're gapping up this morning. Is that a better chart? That's a better chart. Okay, as we're gapping up this morning, I'd like to see it break above that 14,000. If it clears that 14,000, maybe we'll be still in the game for it for a couple more days. Now looking at the NASDAQ, it is very much on its lows, and that's really because if we look at the major players, the major tech players, they're all low. This is looking at Facebook, okay, trading at 187 right here. And you could see that we're hitting a multi-year support level, okay? This is really an important level for it to sustain, because if it doesn't, then we could surely see itself go back to the 120-ish level as well. Now looking at Microsoft, did sell off last week as well. So did Apple, showing some tremendous weakness. And not to mention also JP Morgan, which is not a high-tech stock, it's a bank, but it's representing what the market is doing. Okay, so you got to look at the different sectors, and you got to also look at the general market as well. So we're seeing some tremendous weakness across the board, and I expect us to, possibly bounce going into the FOMC statement this week, and then possibly selling off afterwards. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, this is really a hard trade because we've been trading very, very tightly, and then we get a massive move. Trading very tightly, and then we get a massive move. So that's really hard, very choppy kind of trading. You can't even call it sideways trading because it's such a very tight range that we're trading in. So keep that in mind as this is consolidating. If you want to buy the bottom of the range, okay, that's a better probability play than to just kind of find yourself in the middle and just buy it and not really sure which way it's going to go. So you want to be on the better side of your probability scale. So keep that in mind as this unfolds later today. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.